Hi, welcome to Waverly Public Library's April DIY. I'm Lindsay, so welcome. This month's craft is crocheting an Easter egg. So I thought it was fitting with Easter and everything. So it's this class is sponsored by the Friends of the Waverly Public Library, so we always appreciate their support. And also, the pattern comes from Be Hooked. So pattern and videos come from Be Hooked. So she was gracious enough to allow me to share them with you. If you're interested and if you like those patterns, I encourage you to explore her patterns more. Okay, so this month you should have, hopefully if you received a kit, you should have received some yarn. You'll need about 11 yards of it, and then some poly fiber cotton and a crochet hook, as well as a paper clip and a bobby pin. The bobby pin is in exchange for a tapestry needle, so if you have a tapestry needle, go ahead and use that, but I did not, and I found that the bobby pin worked just fine. So again, this is what we're making. Very fun. So to start off, we need to make a magic ring. Okay, and this part is a little tricky, might take you a few tries at it, but just kind of keep at it. And this way that I'm going to show you is a little different than on the video, but I found that it worked well for me, so I'm going to keep using it. So this tail end, this is the tail end, and you're going to want to make sure you have enough of a tail so it doesn't come loose. And you're going to wrap it around these two fingers, once and then twice, so that you have an X there, okay? And then taking your crochet hook, you're going to go under that first strand and over the second, and then kind of twist the hook, okay? And then you're going to go kind of under that. You don't want that tension to be too tight, because then you won't be able to pull it through. I've found you kind of have to give it a try. So it should look about like that. All right, and then you're going to do a slip knot and pull it through again. Okay. Now that's your first chain, but we're single chain, but we're not going to count that, okay? And we're going to kind of reposition our hands here. I'm going to tighten that circle a little bit so it's easier to work with. And then, so you can really hold it with your dominant hand any way that feels comfortable to you. I have found just wrapping it around my middle finger and then up through over my pointer finger, and then holding this circle with my middle finger and my thumb. Okay, so this isn't going to count as my first stitch. We're going to start off with round 1 with 6 single stitches and a single stitch. So you're going to bring the hook under or inside that circle, and then over this strand that you're kind of keeping the tension under control with that one. And then you're going to wrap your hook around again and pull it through both yarn strands, okay? So that's 1. And you're going to do 5 more. And again, you kind of have to play around with the tension. If it's too tight, I found that it won't go through as easily, and you do kind of have to not have to pull it through the yarn a little bit. So that's 2, and then over, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it should look a little bit like that. Now, the trick to closing this ring is to pull on this tail, okay? So it just brings the 2 ends together. All right, and then for this round, you're going to want to find that first single stitch that you made. Okay, so that's right there. And you're going to bring the hook through both strands, okay? Both strands. And then this is the tail end, so you don't need to worry about that anymore. And then bring it over that strand. You don't want the loops to get too big there. But don't worry about pulling them too tightly either. Otherwise, I found that it makes it harder to work with them. All right, so on this very first round, after you've made your magic ring, so you're going to be doing 2 single stitches. So 2 single stitches or increasing. So increasing means that you're going to go make a single stitch and then make another single stitch and go through that same hole that you just made, okay? So that took me a little bit to figure out. So you're just going to be doing 2 single stitches all the way around here. And really, I should have put that paper clip in after that first single stitch that I made. So we'll show you that in the next round. And don't be afraid to kind of really tug through those strands. Okay. Now you should have made about one time around here. So I'm going to actually take out my paper clip and do a first single stitch. And then I kind of have to So do that first single stitch, and then put your paper clip back, and then this round actually you're just going to be doing single stitches, okay? So 1, 2. You're not going to be doing any increases here. Okay. So there's that, and then take out paper clip for round 4. Make 1 single stitch. Make sure you replace that paper clip. And then you're going to do 2 single stitches in the next stitch there. Okay, so round 5, after you've finished that, is going to be just, again, 1 single stitch. all the way around, okay? And you're gonna start noticing it's going to form a little dome, okay? So you're going to want this tail going to be in the inside of your egg. So if it's, if you need to flip it so that it is in the inside, you can go ahead and do that, but mine is already on the inside. All right, so first single stitch, replace the paper clip. And then just continue doing that all the way around. Okay. Now for the next round, we're going to do one single stitch followed by another single stitch and then a 2 single stitch, okay, or increase. All right, so one, replace the paper clip. Two single stitch just by themselves, and then you're going to go the next hole and do an increase. Okay, so you're going to go back into that same hole. So one single stitch, another single stitch by themselves, and then a increase. Okay. So that's what it should kind of look like after 6 rows. Start looking like an egg shape. So I have kind of made it a little faster with doing 7 through 12 rows already ahead of time. So the 7 through 12 rows are all single stitch, okay? So you're going to want to keep that paper clip as you go, and even I'm like marked the rows off as I went, just to make it easier, okay, because it is easy to lose track. All right, so this is what it should look like, or about like, after 12 rows. Okay. Now for the 13th row, you are going to do a single stitch followed by another single stitch and then a decrease. And I'll show you what that means with decrease, okay? So I have one single stitch here already, then I'm going to make another. And then decrease, okay? So decrease means you're going to go through that first loop only, just that very first strand, and then pull the yarn through, and then you're going to go through the next, just that very first strand of yarn and pull it through again. So you should have 3 loops here on your hook. And then you're going to just pull that all the way through. So it should kind of look like that. And then you're just going to repeat that. Okay? So single stitch. Followed by another single stitch. And then decrease. So just through that first loop, pull it through the first loop, pull it through, and then hook the yarn over your crochet hook and pull it all the way through, and then start all over again. So single, another single stitch, and then decrease. Okay, so that's that row done. Now you can either add the poly fiber now or the 14th row. It's really up to you. So I'm going to do it now on this 13th row, just to make it a little easier on myself. All right. Now, in this next, the 14th row, it's going to be every other, okay? So, take out the paper clip. Do one single stitch. followed by a decrease. Oops. All right, let's start that again. So that's through that first loop, and then so I have 2 holes on my hook, and then I need to bring it through the next one. And bring it through like that. So a single stitch. Followed by a decrease. And then on this final row, once you've finished that, you're just going to be decreasing, okay? So you still want to mark, you still do want to mark where you're at. Okay, and then we're going to cut off, I've already done this, but you can cut off the thread. You're going to want to leave a little bit on the end there. Oh, and before you cut the thread, you're also going to want to just pull this through like that. And then after you've cut it, you can just go ahead and tighten it. Okay? And then this part comes, your bobby pin comes in handy. Okay, so just kind of pull the thread through there so that it stays. And then you're going to kind of go, try to do a drawstring like effect, going in and out through the threads. can be a bit tricky, but just so that you're kind of eliminating that hole. And that's pretty much it. You can cut off the excess. You can kind of see, looks like a egg. All right, so that's the craft for April. May's craft is wish bracelets, so I hope you are able to join me next month. All right, thanks.